Welcome back to It's Your Story to Tell. And if you joined us for part one, you heard Sylvia's powerful testimony of growing up in a chaotic home, moving across the world for love, navigating deep grief, and surviving the loss of identity in a painful second marriage. At the end of the episode, we started to talk about how she was stepping into the light, finding her authentic self. And we're going to talk a little bit more now about how her pain has become her platform and how she has begun to walk in truth, healing, and purpose as a transformational coach. So if you didn't listen to part one, I would say pause here, go back and listen to it, because it's so much more powerful when you can hear what someone overcame, because her story is not just all about the purpose and how great it's looking now, but it's all of those things that informed her as a coach now, as someone who has taken herself through this journey. And Sylvia, thanks for being here with me, coming back, sharing so vulnerably. I know that this is part of your journey. This is the first time you've actually told your story in such a public way. And I'm so proud of you for taking this step in your own personal development, because it's allowing people to see that you are doing the same work that you're encouraging others to do.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So your mom gave you that moment of awakening. You started to make different choices in your own personal life. You then went and got trained as a nurse coach. So once you got trained as a nurse coach, how have you continued to move in your own development to build this platform that you have?
Yeah. So I really think it started throughout the training, even to see how powerful internal changes are, and then how they can be used for others coming out from the inside. And because I did a lot of scary things during that training, as you know. There are a lot of deep, profound exercises that you do that really make you go through the things that you ask of your clients to go through, you know. But that's the thing, though. If you're willing to do it, if you're willing to take charge, and know making decisions can be hard, but if you're willing to take charge and to move forward from the inside out, to accept yourself where you're at in that moment, to respect and have compassion for yourself in that moment that you're in, that can change everything.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I know in my journey, I had a very critical narrative and self-talk. Like the things that I would say to myself, I would never speak over anyone else. But yet I had no problem talking to myself like that. And on this journey and where I'm at now and getting to help people hold space for these amazing stories on the podcast, God really showed me that I didn't have inside me what I was trying to give out. Like I was called to come alongside people, support people, help people. That's why I became a nurse, right? It's like I knew that I had this calling, but I was doing it out of my wounding and out of my brokenness versus out of healing. And when we try to give to others when we're still so broken, it really isn't effective. And so I went on this very similar journey of getting to know myself. I mean, I remember when I started working with my first coach, which happened to be a domestic abuse advocate. What if healing didn't start with fixing, but with presence? In a world overwhelmed by pain and crisis, people don't need more advice. They need someone who can hold space, someone grounded, compassionate, prepared. Sacred Presence is a 6-week intensive that equips you to walk with the hurting through a trauma-informed, spirit-led lens. Whether you're a ministry leader, coach, parent, or simply someone who longs to show up well, this is where you learn to bring peace where there's chaos, hope where there's heartbreak, and wisdom where others only see wounds. You'll walk away with practical tools, spiritual depth, and the confidence to be a healing presence in any room. This isn't just a training, it's transformation. Join us, be equipped, and become the safe place someone's been praying for. Sacred Presence, preparing healers for trauma care, can be found on the itsyourstorytotell.com website. Go and get registered today. I had spent lots of years in like talk therapy, and I was just so frustrated. Some days I'd leave the office feeling worse than like I felt coming in, because I didn't know at the time, but talk therapy is not really very effective for trauma. And I wasn't admitting that I had trauma. So I wasn't letting the counselor in to really effectively help me. So I just sat in this like denial space and wasn't getting the help I needed. Well, at this point, everything had come out. It was public. The surface, was no longer hidden. And so this woman had been on the journey before me, and she had overcome and gotten out of this. And now she was coming in and helping others navigate this. And I thought, wow, it's so interesting. She's wanting me to sit down and figure out my values. Like, I thought I knew my values. Like, I love God, I love people. Like, these are my values. And I remember sitting on the floor with the table in front of me and her dumping out this box of words of like values, hundreds of them, right? Like a puzzle pieces. And I'm like overwhelmed. And she's like, I want you to like pick out 10 words that are impactful and meaningful to you. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I choose 10 out of all of these? They're all important. And then I get them, and she's like, so is that your word, or is that your parents? Is that, and we went one by one, like evaluating and just getting curious of like, where did that come from? Do you really feel like that's you, or was that the church? Was that, and having to kind of narrow down those. And that was my first experience of starting to get to know myself and who am I really, and what do I really like, and how do I want my life to look. Before, it was just everything else around me externally was guiding me versus internal. And I feel like that's what you're saying, is like doing that internal work, then you can help people from a healed place and an authentic place, not because you're looking for externally people to validate you, meet your own needs. Cause that was me. Like, I was showing up and I would do the hard and take on lots and lots of work so I could get recognized. But then I would be angry about it and bitter about it, because why am I having to do all this work? No one else is doing it. And so it was impacting my relationships with people, because I wasn't authentic in like having boundaries. I was taking it on, but then getting upset at them. And they are like, what did I do? Like, I thought you liked to do all that, Did you ever have any of those experiences where you were like, maybe I've like miscommunicated because I didn't even know what I was communicating?
No, the worst part for me was that so much of the time, so often, I didn't even know what I wanted. So I would say yes to things, or I would say whatever was needed. And then later on, I thought about it. Is that really what I want? I didn't even know what I wanted. It was that bad.
Yeah. Wow. So what are some of the things that you found? Well, we know like you going through nurse coaching and getting your certification was really profound. What other things did you integrate into your life to continue supporting yourself on this journey of getting, new skills that allow you to sit in like uncomfortable places? Because that's, I feel like, what we have to do is get comfortable with the uncomfortable.
The only way, in my opinion, to really help people is to look at them as a
Mhm.
whole complete person. They have a mental aspect, a psychological aspect, a physical aspect, and to take all of that and to include all of that into the coaching process. Because for myself, that's what I had to do. I had to take all parts of me and accept all parts of me and work with all those different parts to become one whole being.
I love that. And I think that's why so many nurses are being drawn to being a coach and recognizing that the system, the healthcare system, is not focusing holistically. They're looking at, even down to, not just we're looking at your body. Sometimes you're with a specialist and it's like we're just looking at your knee and not realizing how it's attached to everything else, and that could be a symptom of something else.
Mhm.
And they're not looking at like, okay, well, let's deal with your obesity. We don't even have enough time to actually even start uncovering what are the reasons. When I started this journey as a nurse coach and I was telling people, oh, I'm a nurse coach, everybody's like, oh, you help with like blood pressure and weight loss and diabetes. And I'm like, yes. And we want to go beyond just talking about what symptoms you have. And it was really powerful for me when I realized in one of my sessions working with someone who was struggling with their weight. And as we began to get curious about why, not just the symptom, we started to share a story of how her mom put her on diets from 10 years old. And it's like she knew everything to do from a diet standpoint. She knew how to manage those things. But what she was struggling with was a wounding that food was the control she had. So here she is as a grown woman with older kids, and she's thinking about, I want to have the ability to retire and be healthy and travel and be on the floor with my grandkids, but yet I can't make myself do it. It's like the white knuckling, even like with people recovering from drugs or alcohol. It's like you can only white knuckle it for so long. And if you don't get to the heart of the matter, then that ability to say no is going to fall apart. And then you're going to get back into the same cycle. And then there's going to be shame because it's not really what you want. And so getting to that wounding is so powerful because it starts to transform every aspect of your life. So when you're fixing the psychological, it's fixing your body. And I just love that you're highlighting how important that is in helping people to be well.
Yeah. Well, most of us nurses, we became nurses because we want to help people. We want to really help people. And there's a good place for medicine. Don't get me wrong. I totally think, and as nurses, we're serving still people. I mean, it's a good job. It's a very helpful and healing job still. It is not complete. And that's the one part I was always missing, this one part of it. I really, really want to help my patients, right? Not just help them with a dressing change or help them with a medication or infusions or, drawing their labs, but I want them to walk out of here feeling better than they did when they walked in.
What a powerful place to serve from, and being able to find this holistic approach and now bringing it into the hospital and as a nurse is so powerful because our hospital system is built on a bunch of people who want to see people healed. And a lot of them are trying to heal from a wounded place. And we kind of see some of that dysfunction if we were to look
Yeah.
at the system. But when you come in with this approach and can support your coworkers differently, support your patients differently, you're transforming even the hospital system while still even building your own practice. And I think that is so powerful because we can't all abandon the system.
Agreed. I could not agree more. It is
So
it is very true because nursing has a purpose, It still helps. It's still good science. I mean, everything that we do in the medical field, there is some purpose to it, but it is only part of the picture.
So I'm going to ask you as we're going to be transitioning and ending this episode to share a little bit about your own private practice, how you support people and what is your coaching based on so that people, if they were resonating like with your story, that and the transformation that you've made, that they might be able to find you and learn more about how to connect with someone who could help them navigate their own fears.
All I can think of is saying the same thing every other coach would do, when they're talking about like, oh yeah, I ask empowering questions or deep questions and they lead to epiphanies and they do this, this, and this. You know what I mean? That is what all the other coaches say. The thing is, I am passionate about what I do. I feel deeply convinced that all of us have within us the power and the ability to have and achieve the life that we truly want in accordance with our authentic being, with who we truly are. not just how we want the world to look at us, but who we are from the inside out. And to be able to enjoy that, to have the confidence to live that way, and to have the conviction that we are true to our values and to us.
Wow, I want to sign up for your coaching. That sounds amazing. Like, I just am like, who doesn't need that in their life? I am so thankful for the way you are showing up and using your story to make a difference in the lives of others. Okay, as we close up, Sylvia, I want to ask you one question. One of the things we've talked about is how we both feel it's so important to show up and share, even to make a difference in the life of just one person. And so, for the one who is listening today, who has seen themselves a little bit in your story, where they feel stuck in fear and maybe lost in someone else's version of their life that they aren't loving, they're feeling there's more to life than this. What is one thing that they could do to begin finding their way back to themselves?
If you are that one person that can benefit from what I have to give today, and you feel like life has given you the short end of the stick, I'm here to tell you that you have power within you. If you've lost hope, I'm here to tell you that there is hope. There's possibility for you, and you can become the person that internally you already know you're supposed to be, who you are authentically.
That's perfect. That was great. Thank you for those words of wisdom and just the encouragement that where you're at doesn't have to be where you stay. And your life and the story that you shared as how you navigated where your life was shattered by grief and feeling a loss of identity, that there is still a way forward. You are an example of someone who's been able to reclaim that power and allow the purpose to rise up. You always knew who you were supposed to be, and now you're getting to live that out. And not only that, but you're walking with other people and allowing them to find their bravery and their truth so that they can live in purpose too. So thank you so much for being here with me, Sylvia. Can you tell our listeners the name of your practice? And you guys, I will link to Sylvia in the show notes. So if you want to learn more about her and the coaching that she offers, you can check out her website. But what is your coaching practice, Sylvia?
It is called Avalys Coaching, which is really my name spelled backwards, Sylvia. So AIVLYS. Coaching.com is my website. And you can find me on that website. I'm also planning to do a workshop that's in the works right now as we speak. And I will be announcing that as soon as I'm ready to share and invite people in.
Awesome. Well, stay tuned, you guys, for what's coming with Sylvia. You know where to find me on It's Your Story to Tell, and Megan Baker Babcock for my personal Facebook, where I'm always sharing my own journey of growth. And I will be sure to feature Sylvia's upcoming workshop because I know that it's going to be powerful, and it's going to be a fun way for people to get to try out working with her and see if she's a good fit for you. And I love that she is offering that to people, and it'll be a free workshop to be able to get to know her a little bit better. Thank you so much, listeners, for being here. And if this story spoke to you, would you share it with a friend who might need this message? You have the power to help us in getting out these stories to bring more hope and inspiration into the world. Remember, your story matters. You're not too far gone. You are not too broken. You are worth healing. You're worth joy and becoming who you were always meant to be. I'll see you next time on It's Your Story to Tell.